Let's get scratching.
This thing is a piece of shit.
I managed to pick one of these up from its creator, Makho. This is an SP Slate. And I managed to pick up a color that was out of stock, which is great. It's my favorite color of the lineup that he had outside of brass. And I want to go over this thing. My impressions, how I feel about it. Are there any critical flaws? Yes. The right shoulder on my SP is dead. I've enjoyed playing this. Putting it together was pretty simple as well. I enjoy the design and aesthetic that went into it. So I think since my SP board has a bum trigger, I need to tear this down. I probably should have did an assembly video when I got it, but I was pretty excited to test it out. So what I'm going to do is actually take this apart, show the steps that I took when assembling it. This won't be a full assembly video, so if you're looking for that, I'm going to have to point you to Makho's video, because he has a full assembly video that'll go into the details, I'm sure. I'm just going to go over what I did to put mine together. It was partially assembled by Makho also. Like the lens was already put in by him, so I didn't even have to worry about that. I mainly just had the front shell, the lens, the rear piece, the screws. So let's tear this down so I can get down to the motherboard. Alright, so from what I remember when I got this, it was very easy to put together. It uses the back half of a regular Game Boy Advance SP, so you're only paying for the front shell. You're not paying for a full shell to put together. It comes with a front piece and a back piece that are milled out of aluminum. And like I said, I got this directly from Makho. He said that he had one left over, and I expressed interest to grab it from him, and he sent it on over. And you can see these screws, maybe I should bring it up to the camera. These are, I think, M2 screws, because you're screwing in to a milled aluminum front, so they're tapped for M2 screws. So you no longer use the, are they called Tri-Wing or Y-Wing? I'm not sure. I think Y-Wing is a Star Wars reference. But you don't use Tri-Wing screws anymore. In fact, I don't think you use any of the stock screws. You use a provided screw set from Makho. Oops, there's one down here. There you go. We have the front shell. I do want to talk about this design before I go further tearing it down. So like I said, the front is milled aluminum, I think by RetroCNC, which is amazing work. They did a great job. You can see you have the recessed buttons that it's very similar to the SP. You have this kind of sunken area for the D-pad, the AB buttons, and the start and select. Did a great job mirroring that as well. You can see this depression here is a little bit thicker on this side, and I was wondering, like, why is that? And then I turned it to the side here, and there's a really cool design feature that maybe a lot of people might not catch. It's got a slant here, it tapers, and I like that quite a bit. So it tapers up to allow space for the LCD is what I'm going to guess. And that's such a cool, I guess, really necessary piece of design that just happens to look really good as well. Let's proceed. Going a bit further, I need to remove these two screws here for the top back section. There are 3 screws holding in the motherboard to the front half of the shell. I'm going to remove those as well. There we go. I'm going to see if I can pry out this top back section. This is the first thing I noticed of the troubles that I had in getting this together. Oh yeah, come on. There we go. All right. So, the first problem that I had, Makho, if you're watching and looking for a little bit of feedback. So this top back section that covers the back of the LCD, it has extremely tight tolerances from this side edge to the inside edge of the shell. So it's really snug. I had to press it on there very, very hard. So you might want to talk to RetroCNC about maybe pulling in some of these walls a little bit so it fits in there a little more easily, so it's not like a press fit. And I'm not sure if the anodization maybe adds a minor layer to the outside of the aluminum that thickens it up a bit so that the tolerances are a little more snug. But that's just a minor thing. Okay, so the next issue I had was when I was seating the motherboard into the shell like so. The N2 screws, it's so small it's hard to focus on. The diameter of the threaded part of the screw is just about or on par with the diameter of this hole. So when you're trying to thread your M2 screws in through the motherboard and into the front half of the shell to hold it in place and hold it down, the threads are grabbing the inside of the diameter of this PCB hole. So what you're doing is threading into the PCB and then hoping that you catch the thread correctly onto the front half of the shell. And that makes me a little nervous. I don't want to cross thread or strip the threads out of this front shell. Like I said, aluminum is very, very soft, and these steel threads will just eat through the threads that are put into it, that are tapped into it. It'll just pull them right out. So if you make like one or two mistakes, you're probably not going to thread much in here unless you retap it to a larger diameter screw. So what I did was, let me come back with my drill real quick. I'd recommend picking up a drill bit, or if you have one laying around, drilling and boring out these holes just a little bit can really help you out for clearance. I'm going to drill this one out a little bit so it's easier for me to screw the motherboard into the front half of the shell. Fits in there with no issues. It's not grabbing the sides of the PCB anymore, or the sides of the hole in there. Come on, baby. So those were the two minor issues. This had a little bit of maybe a tolerancing issue, very tight to fit on this top back half. The screws would grab into the PCB, and I thought that could lead to potential mistakes for people trying to thread them. But other than that, I think this is all good. One thing I do not like about the original design is this awkward brightness button. I think it really uglies up the face of the design. I never really liked it. When they were coming out, I do remember a few friends having one, and I thought, yeah, it's cool that it has a backlight or a front light, whichever model you had, but it looked ugly. So I'm glad he did not go with that. That's just a style choice. It's just my opinion. I think it looks really good, though, to not have it. And if you can have like little shortcuts, holding the select and R and L to adjust the brightness, you know, that takes care of that design problem. It's solved. And I think it gives you a better looking front as well. Okay, what else? I think this mod is, like I said, very simple compared to like my slab design. This is very straightforward. It's a little more expensive, of course, but what you get for paying a little bit more is a produced aluminum shell, which is extremely durable. It looks nice. It's got a great finish. You can always do, like, I don't know, SLA printing has some good quality to it every now and then. If you go to like a really good print house, I'm having good success with quality and printing from like JLC PCB. They do really good work. It's easy to work with them as well, but still, you don't have the same kind of durability with even a resin printed shell that you get with an aluminum milled shell. These also just look really nice. So that's my initial impressions, and now that I've talked about the design, what I like about it, what I think could maybe have some tweaks done to it, let's get into the fixes that I need. The right shoulder button on mine, that's the right one, right? Yeah. Mine's pooping out. Looks like it's a little bit shorter on the stem, but yeah, I think that'll work. Now I can't leave like the legs poking through on this back side. That'll foul the shell, so I'm going to clip them. Okay. I'm going to get this back together. I'm going to retest it, make sure that all the face buttons and of course that right shoulder works. I just want to make sure that's going to hold up. So with the replacement switch, ding, 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 you can hear it actually click. Seems to be working fine now. The old right shoulder was on its deathbed. Pretty easy replacement. They don't have that nice, satisfying soft click that I like, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. Okay, I want to get this back together and then put in the final touches. One of them being this Nintendo badge. I don't have a spare one laying around, so I think I'm gonna steal one out of this old SP. Check that out. Oh my god, that looks great. I think I've mentioned a couple times how soft aluminum is in this video. You want to make sure you're on the threads before you start to tighten, so I'll always roll back. There's a click, then you know the threads are probably aligned. And then there you go, it's tightened up. Boot it up. Beautiful. Amazing. Other superlatives. So my opinion of this, I like it. I like it quite a bit. I think Makho did a great job. So did RetroCNC. The craftsmanship, the attention to detail, I dig it quite a bit. And then of course, like the label features from Kelly, that's really nice. Great build. Good job, Makho. And thanks for watching, and bye.